Hey everyone, it's Rambling Hour with Lisa, season 11, episode 5. You will hear noise in the background because Thomas has some friends over, he's barbecuing, and then the dogs as well. So, I'm not using my normal cup, my glass today, my gin glass. I'm using a squirrel cup to go with my squirrel shirt that says, I don't have ducks or row, I have squirrels and they are everywhere. Not to mention that I've always called the 3 girls the 3 squirrels, and obviously with Amy adding on to that, we have 4 squirrels and 2 boys, but I don't know what would, I mean, we could call them buoys, buoys, like the ones that float on the sea, but I don't know what is creative, like a squirrel, girl, boy. Tell me, not a toy, that's not. So you tell me if you can think of anything cute like that, but it's a squirrel kind of day. And my little Bitmoji cartoon had a coffee cup instead. Sorry, ears are itchy. So I thought I would do this. It's not coffee though, it's pop, obviously, because that's my caffeine, cold caffeine. I am sitting on the edge of the raised bed. So I thought I'd come to you from a different part of the garden. I thought about the front garden today, but anyways, I'm sitting on the edge of the big rectangle raised bed that doesn't have dirt over it. It's got, like, you can see behind me, just about to compost. I've been just, every time I like clean up anything in the garden, dead leaves, whatever, I've just been throwing the compost in here. And then, so what I'm doing, I've told you guys this before because I've already done it with the first half, which I can turn and show you. It's got pots on it right now, but under the pots, it's got landscaping fabric. There's like, there's a board here. So landscaping fabric, it's gonna come underneath here and cover this. And then I'll put pots on this side too, or dirt. And it's just keep it covered right while so it's called trench composting. There you can see the sky. It's called trench composting, and you, like, I've told you guys this before, like, you basically did it, like in your vegetable garden or whatever, you would dig a trench. Then you would put down all your food scraps and you want a balance of green and brown. So food scraps are your, like, green, and everything else. Leaves, cardboard and stuff like that's your brown. So you want to balance it out, but you've put all your compost in the, and this is a good way, if your compost bin's full and you don't know what to do with it, this is a good way to do it. So you dig a trench in your vegetable bed, and then you put all your compost in it, then you put dirt on top of it, and you plant on top of that. As the compost decomposes underneath, then it will, like, all that nutrients will be there for the plants that are growing on top of it. So I'm basically doing that with my whole bed in the middle. Mom says, hi Lisa. Hi Mom. I'm doing that with my whole bed in the middle because I have a lot of, actually underneath all this is wood chips that I've put under there too, because I needed somewhere to put them, and it'll decompose as well. So this will be a really good nutrient bed when I'm done. But I also didn't have enough dirt to fill it up. I didn't want to buy dirt. So I'm going to use the dirt when I dig out the fish pond, which is part of my plan for this summer. I'm going to take that dirt and put it on top of this. I'm not going to leave the landscaping fabric in there because I want the dirt that I'm putting on top to mix with the stuff as it breaks down. The worms will eat the, and mix anyways. So, but the landscaping fabric is to cover it so no dogs and such get into it while it's breaking down. So this is where I am in the corner, and then you can see behind me where that pink flower is, which isn't real, it's just a metal one. The orange one is a real rose, but there's not a lot going on here for color yet. But that is the L-shaped raised bed behind me. And on this side, although you can't see it from here, this is where the corn and the like zucchinis are planted back in the L-shaped raised bed back there. Zucchinis, courgettes, marrows, whatever you want to call them. And actually where that purple thing is right here, that is down there is this, there's like stairs to get up into that raised bed, because I don't know if you can see it, but it's hard to see, but behind these sticks right here in the corner of the L-shaped raised bed is my meditation bench. So it's just because the way that being next to the train tracks, our garden isn't like, it's not a right angle, so it goes like out, like not that way. So it gets L of the beds is a right angle, but the bed gets bigger into that corner. So our fence, instead of being flat, it goes out bigger into that corner. So it's a big space in that corner, quite deep. So even if I planted something at the back there, vegetable wise, I wouldn't be able to get to it. So that's where I have, oh, actually you might be able to see, I don't know if you can tell because of the trees in the background, but there's a cherry tree that gets really pink blossoms. Which way am I going? Like right there. And that's behind the bench. So I have a big ornamental cherry tree that blooms pink in a big pot behind the meditation bench. Anyways, that's where I am in the garden today. I was going to be out in the front, but I thought I would do this instead because I was working over here, and this is where I need to be working once I'm done my live. How are you guys? What have you been up to this past week? How has the weather been? Here it is finally nice, but almost too hot. The last couple days have been 28 and 30 and more. There's been thunderstorms. We watched on the news, although I see some gray clouds there. We did have thunder yesterday, but it barely rained. And then today, I guess there was thunderstorms and flash floods and stuff. And when we watch the news, it's like the storms just went right on either side of us. Because even Northwich, which is a bigger town than Middlewich, and it's only like 15 minutes down the road, they got a huge flash flood. And I keep looking over here because I'm used to putting my camera there, and I meant to get another star for me, but I decided to put my camera this way this week, so I need to look there where the comments are. Mike Ender says, you got any fires there? Edson has been evacuated here in Alberta. No, actually, but I heard Nova Scotia is having really bad fires as well. As far as I know, there's no fires here, but we haven't had rain in a while, like besides now that the thunderstorms are coming in and stuff, but even here where I am at our house, we haven't had rain in a while, and the plants need it. So not just the plants, but everything. So yeah, it's quite dry here. That's why with the warm air now, and like they said that it'll be about 17 overnight, which is normal for Alberta and on the prairies to still stay warm at night. Here it usually goes colder, which is why even my pool doesn't get warm, because overnight it cools off. But staying like that, you can see why there'd be thunderstorms. So we might have them tonight. We'll see. Hopefully we do, because it's not about the, I love the thunder and lightning, but I need the rain to come. So yeah, as far as I know, there's no fires here, but I haven't heard anything necessarily. But it's all the like I said, except for the fact that there's thunderstorms now, depending on how much water the flash floods have done and stuff. If it's anything like my garden and Middlewich, it's the perfect things you need to have a fire. So Mike says, Canada fire smoke about to get, okay, hang on, what? Canada fire smoke about to get to where you are by tomorrow. That's crazy. So the smoke, I know it's really bad in Canada. Oh, I guess if Nova Scotia is like all on fire, then that smoke would come over quite easily, but it'll probably be more on the coast, like right where we are. We're not right on the seaside, but we're a couple hours or an hour from the seaside. So we'll see if the smoke affects the skies here. And Mike also says, you grow herbs and spices, oregano, sage, mint, or if you're North American, oregano. Yes, I have different sages, like salvias, and the oregano is over there in the raised bed. I have a dark one and a light one. I can't remember what, like one's called the golden oregano or something. And what was the other one? You said mint. Oh, actually the mint, these are all, this whole row, there's like, if you see this is like a, what are they called? Scaffolding board. I can take it out. It's just a little one. Just a little piece of scaffolding board. Well, there's a long one like this that's all the way across this bed that I can use to walk on when there's stuff planted. Well, this whole row of pots that you see right here, all the way to the end of the bed, this is all different types of mint. They're just coming up. This is pineapple mint. I don't know, there's different ones. I have chocolate mint. This is like a fuzzy type of mint. So yes, I have lots of mint, but I keep them in tubs, like planters, because they can be invasive. Mike says, did you do chicks and hens first and then transfer? With what? Pineapple mint is my favorite. So great to grow. Yeah, it smells really good too. Sorry, did I do hens and chicks with... I have hens and chicks, but that's like a succulent, if that's what you're asking. And most of my mint has been either bought from shop or given to me, like a little bit of it, and I keep it in, like I said, in the pots. So are you talking about, when you say chicks and hens, are you talking about like the succulents that make little babies? I have those over in my succulent bed over there underneath the red currant bush. But yeah, the only things I've grown this year is the corn and the courgette because I didn't have the greenhouse. I didn't really start a lot of things, and I'm just trying to love what I have and get everything better than it is, and then I'll start doing seeds next year, except that I don't know if we're going to Canada for the summer next year. So Mike says hens and chicks. Sorry, I did it backwards. Succulents. Yep. Yes, I do have hens and chicks. A few different varieties. I like that that's a succulent that you can grow on the Canadian prairies, and that they'll come back, that they don't, well, obviously they freeze because it freezes there, but they don't die and go mushy. They come back every year. So that's really cool. And I know that I can rely on them here then as well, even if we get colder winters like last winter. Any other gardening questions, or what do you guys want to talk about besides gardening? I'm going to have some in my pot. I like that right now with the days being longer, I can get away with being in the garden till about 10 with still being able to see. It's still a bit dusky yet by 10, but I can still see enough to do a few things. So even when I'm done here, I might have an hour I haven't been in the garden the last 2 days because we went to the seaside yesterday. Me, Steve, Aurora, and Erica went and met Amy and James and baby Jackson there. And I didn't get to go swimming because the tide didn't come in as close as we wanted it to, and we didn't want to walk all the way out to it. So yeah, we were out all day yesterday, and then today I have just been cleaning the kitchen. I mowed the lawn, but I haven't really been outside a lot today. Mike says, did you know only in Canada does a pizza get to your house faster than an ambulance? Only in Canada does a pizza get to your house faster than an ambulance. Well, no, that's not only in Canada. Actually, we have, unfortunately, it is ridiculous here, especially since COVID and everything else. It's just like they're overwhelmed and underfunded and everything else. And so ambulances here have, like, there's stories in the news of ambulances taking like 3 or 4 hours. Like sometimes it'll be quicker to take your loved one to the hospital yourself in your car than waiting on the ambulances. It's really sad. It's very, very sad. So that would be the same thing here, unfortunately. Mike also says, in Canada at a McDonald's, do we order a Big Mac, large fries, and then get a small Diet Coke? In Canada at a McDonald's, do we order a Big Mac, large fries, and then a small Diet Coke? I don't know. I guess you could just supersize you could just get large fries instead of a small Coke, but I'm not actually sure what you're asking. Here, it's actually illegal to have supersize because of health reasons, although you could just buy 2 meals. But they don't even have, like, for here, the large drink at McDonald's is 21 ounces, which is the medium in Canada. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So he said, Lisa, these are jokes. So yeah, in here, a small is the same as a small there, which is 16 ounces, but a large here is 21 ounces. And in Canada, that's a medium. And then you get a 32 ounce, which is, wait, no. Yeah, no. Okay. So a small is like the one you get with the, no, 16, 21, and 32. So it goes small, large, and super size is 32 ounces. Large is 21. I guess the small is 16. So they don't really have a, I don't know, whatever. Anyways, you can't supersize things here. Did you know Canada and England have something in common? You have a great week. Thank you. You have a great week too. yeah, now I'm thinking about the different sizes and stuff. I told Steve when we have a cheat day from our no carbs, we need to go to, there's a Wendy's here now in Salford, which is on the other side of Manchester. It's where the university is, where Owen went, and hopefully Allison will be going there. And Media City is there, so, but they have a Wendy's there, so I want to go to Wendy's. I keep looking in the wrong place for the camera, but at least I'm trying to look at the camera instead of myself, as per usual. But yeah, so Wendy's. Also, like, Ben Brazil is like a Brazilian restaurant, and it's like so much meat. I've told you guys about it before, but I want to go there too because we can eat as much meat and as much veg as we want. So Ben Brazil, they come around. You have a sign that you put on your table, and they come around with like a different like skewer of meat, like all the meats, every meat you could think of, and they're like, would you like more whatever pork? And you say yes, and they slice them off and put it on your plate. And then it's like a minute later, they're coming around with it, you know, would you like some of this roast chicken? And then they slice some of that off onto your plate, and you just like as much as you could eat meat, and it's so good. So that is something that me and Steve can do on our date night. Tomorrow will be 2 weeks that we've done the no carbs, and I am down like 9 pounds, which is like 4 kilograms, because in my group with Samantha and stuff, we weigh ourselves in kilograms, which is not the way I do it in Canada. The thing is, in Canada we just weigh ourselves in pounds, but here they weigh themselves in stones and pounds, because 1 stone is 14 pounds. I actually learned, I can't remember it now, I just heard on a podcast why it's called a stone, and they were weighing something. What were they weighing? Fruit, I think, maybe fruit and veg or something. They were weighing something in a market, and then they needed a way to like say how much it was, so they picked a stone and they put it on the other side, and the weight, it ended up measuring, that stone that they ended up using was equivalent of 14 pounds, and that's how it's been used. I haven't looked it up to see if it was true, but I heard it on a podcast today. So a stone is 14 pounds. So if I tell you that I weigh like 11 stone, 9 pounds, it means I weigh like 14 times 11 is 154. Yeah, 154. And then another 9 pounds. So that would be 163. So yeah, you have to do maths. Otherwise, in kilograms, I'm like, yesterday I guess I was 71, which is the 9 pounds that I lost, but today I weighed myself, and then my kilograms are up to 72.3. Like, it fluctuates every day, but I don't really pay attention to it and look at it. And if this is triggering to you with the food talk and the weight talk, I'm sorry, but just letting you know what's going on. And I'm not really doing it for the weight loss. That's just we do like a marathon in the group just to keep each other motivated, you know, just like who lost the most weight in the week. But it's not to make anyone feel guilty. It's just to keep you motivated to do the little things during the day to keep you on track, because it's a really good group. There's only like 5 of us in it, but we support each other like a lot, and we all have our fail days and our setbacks, but we always build each other up, and I absolutely love it. I wouldn't change it. So yeah, so it's only a few weeks till me and Steve actually go to Spain for the wedding. It's gone by super quick. Like, today is like, oh, I guess I was thinking it's like already the 17th, but that's next weekend. 18th is Father's Day. It's only the 11th today. So yeah, so we still have time, and it's the end of the month that we go to Spain. I can't remember what day. So how is everyone? What are you doing on your Sunday, June 11th? As I just said, summer is here, and I am trying to enjoy it. Looking ahead at the week to come. I mean, this last week, dentist appointment. So I had my dentist appointment on Thursday, and that was just to fit my, because I told you when I was in Italy, I accidentally got our backpack stolen, and in there were my prescription glasses and my partials. And so I had to get new ones made. So this appointment on Thursday that I just went to was the wax ones that they put in to match the color and make sure the fit is, whatever, everything's, so this Thursday coming up, I go and get my actual ones again, so I can talk over this and then not have all these holes in my teeth. But Friday, Erica got 3 teeth pulled, 3 little teeth. She had this one, we called it a peg. It was like just really skinny tooth that was up poking through her gums. So Erica got 3 teeth pulled on Friday, but she seems to be doing fine, and that's to she has an appointment in a few weeks she has her top braces on, but where they had to pull that tooth, it's a big gap here, so they need to fix the braces there, and then she's getting her bottom braces put on, so she had to get those teeth pulled first. So that's what my weeks consisted of. Mom says been too hot here. I know, Mom, like in the 30s and stuff like that. Like, I mean, even in the 20s it can be too hot if you're in the sun and everything else, let alone when it starts getting into the 30s. And we're talking Celsius here for anybody who doesn't do Celsius. But yeah, Mom, I agree with you. Unless you're like, I don't remember who I was talking to, but it was, I think it was James, with Amy and James yesterday, but it was just saying about like being used to hot summers and everything else. It's different when you're at the lake or even the seaside if the freaking tide is in, so you can actually swim. There's so many rules with the stupid sea because the tide's in, and then when it's going out, then there's the rip tides, which, you know, you can get caught in and you die, so you can't swim at that time and everything else. But if you're at a lake or you have a pool or there's some way, like Spain is going to be hot when we go, because it's like Spain is hot when you go in like April and stuff, so it is going to be hot in June/July in Spain. However, luckily the place that we're staying, our friend who's getting married runs the it's not a resort, but what would it be called, it's like a hotel, it's not a hotel, but it's like a, well, it has rooms and it has like the facilities to have weddings and everything else. It's a really nice place. But she owns that and runs it, so it has pools. So what I'm saying is we're good, because even though it's hot in Spain, I can go swimming as much as I need to in the pool there. So, but yeah, so it really depends when it's that hot. If you have a splash park, if you have a pool, if you're next to the lake or the sea where you can swim and keep yourself cool, if you have air conditioning and it's not costing you like your whole life savings, then it's totally different being in an environment where it's really, really hot, or if you're used to it and it's, you know, but if you don't have those things, then it can be like, you can't work in that heat. Like, you just can't. So yeah, if you get to lie around because you don't have a job, but if you have to work and stuff like that, like, it's just sickening. I have a headache right now, and I don't know if it's because of the heat yesterday and today, but I haven't been able to get rid of this headache. So who knows? Like, there's just so many, and people don't realize how easily you can get heat stroke and such. So, let alone sunburns and that stuff too. So yeah, I feel for you, Mama. I hope you have the little kids pool out in the garden, and at least, you know, getting in there when you can. Yeah, but at the same time, I appreciate that it's summertime, and I try to just, like, even on hot days, I try to just work in the shade around the garden. And don't forget, like, especially one good thing about having long hair, see, people say like having your head shaved and stuff will keep you cool. I found when my head was shaved that I understand, like, the wind will blow on your head, and like when me and Steve go for walks in the winter, he has to wear something to keep his head warm. Because he has nothing, you know, my hair will keep my head warm, and but so I understand what you're saying about it being cooler with your head shaved. However, what I love about having hair like this is that when it's hot, I can wet my hair and it acts like having a wet towel on your head. So it keeps my head cool and it keeps my shoulders cool if it's down or whatever. So remember to do the things you need to do to keep yourself cool. Even if you have a cool shower, just keep your temperature down. Like, don't lie there in front of the fan dying, like literally dying, because people will die in the heat. You need to do things like go in a cool basement, or if you have one, or like I said, have a cool shower or something to keep your body core temperature. Walk around with wet hair, put a cold towel on your shoulders. Just, you know, and you know, you lose heat from your armpits, your neck, your head, your feet, and like behind your so behind your head here and behind your knees. Like, those are places that you will lose heat from. So put cold things on your neck and your head and everything else to try and keep your body cool. It's very important to take care of yourselves, because if you're not going to do it, who's going to do it for you? We are not even at a half an hour, and I feel bad for Tom and his friends, because I think it's a little talk, but they're being very quiet now. And I think it's because I am loud and I ramble, so they're just trying to be respectful. So, congratulations to Man City Football Club. They are, I can't remember how they say it, but it's like triple. So they've won 3 big, huge cups, and by winning the cup that they won yesterday, which is like the I don't know, it's something European Championships or something. They are the top team in Europe right now. So that is the team that Steve has supported his whole life and absolutely loves. And I love because I love blue and it's my favorite color and that's the color they are. So congratulations to them on all of their wins, including the one in Europe yesterday. It was actually in Turkey, in Istanbul, the cup final yesterday. And my friend Samantha, her mom and dad were at the game in Istanbul because I can't remember how it worked, but it had to do with like the fact that they have season tickets to the games. And I don't remember if it was like, I can't remember how it worked, but like there must have been some priority thing for people who have season tickets to be able to go to the Istanbul game. And so, yes, her parents went and they had a blast and we won, and it was 1-0, 1-0, as they say here. And it was, as far as I know, it was a close game. And Steve said he doesn't remember ever being that stressed about a game in his life. And his heart rate, Steve has a very low heart rate, even when he's active or when he's resting, and his heart rate went up last night while he was watching the game. And the funny thing is, I went up to ask him something and I didn't know how much time was left in the game. I didn't think it was 3 minutes left, but I knocked on the door and I opened it and he said 3 minutes, 3 minutes, and I was like, okay. So I just like closed the door and like waited 3 minutes, but it's like the most important time of the game and I interrupted. But yeah, so congratulations to them. Like I said, this week coming up, a dentist appointment for me, but I can't think of anything else specific this week, except like I said, on Sunday, it is Father's Day here and in Canada and other places. So make sure you've planned and got what you need for Father's Day. One of the Father's Day gifts I ordered like hasn't come yet, and I need to like look into it and make sure that I didn't just spend, because it was like 60 pounds or something like that. And I will show it to you when it gets here and after I've given it to Steve, or Father's Day comes, once I show him the picture of it and figure out, like, I hope it wasn't a scam. But yeah, I need to look into it because it's still not here. Not only do I want it for Father's Day, but very quietly, if you're watching this, not if you're watching this live because you can't really rewind it, but if you're watching this later, or if you're watching this live, you can go and check it out after I post it when we're done. There was very quiet thunder just then when I stopped talking. Oh, it's a car out there, but I thought, you know when you hear thunder and then all of a sudden the rain just starts pouring down? I thought I heard like rain starting, but there's very quiet thunder again. But the clouds above me may have rain in them, but they don't look like really big storm clouds, so I think I'm okay. I thought about doing it from the greenhouse, but I'll save in the greenhouse for a day that it is actually raining. And I actually have a table and chair in there now too, so I can sit in there. You can hear the crows because that's a common thing that happens sometimes when they come and sit on top of the trees. But what do you guys want to talk about? Tell me what's going on with you. I don't know where my sisters are. I don't know what's happening. I think Tina, my little sister, was going camping this weekend, and it's summertime right now, so places that have harsh winters, you try to get away every weekend if you can to enjoy the weather and camp. Whether you have a permanent like camper, trailer, some cabin or something at a lake or a place where you haul a trailer camper with you. Yes, I know lots of people try to get away for the weekends. Just going over the kids in my head. I got to see Owen yesterday before we went out to the seaside, but yeah, so that's all 6 kids because we saw Amy and James after, and then grandson Jackson, who's doing well. And other day on Friday, so Allison went and stayed at Samantha's this weekend to house sit while they went to a wedding. And so when she came to pick up Allison on Friday, I got to see Danielle and Spencer. They had just got back from Turkey a couple days before that, so that was nice to get to see them and then see Jackson yesterday. So everybody's doing well. Mom says they are both camping. Mom, I'm sure you're enjoying time I mean, as much as you'd like to camp, it's also nice to have time to yourself instead of being with, you know, all of them camping, because you just need a break from your kids and grandkids sometimes, don't you? But yeah, all the kids are good. Everybody's good. Can't think of anything else. Aurora's college will be done in a few weeks, like at the end of June. Erica has hers will be done in the middle of July. And yeah, so Allison's applied for university. I don't know what, like, she's also applied for financing, so I haven't heard anything back. I mean, she might have heard if she got into the university of her choice, which is, like I said, Salford, but I don't know if she has or not yet, so we'll see what's happening there. Aurora would like to not have to take another year of college. She enjoys cooking, and like she's taking bakery and patisserie. She enjoys those things, doing it normally, but not going to school and having to be told to do it and having to do it every day. And we've tried to explain to her that you're going to have to work in life anyways, which sucks, but it's better to have some love for what you do every day and get paid for it than do something you don't like every day and get paid for it. However, we all know that even our hobbies and the things that we love the most, once it's become a job, J-O-B, just so we're broke, and you're told to do it, or you have to do commissions, and like it just, once it becomes a job, it's not as enjoyable because there's more responsibility, and you know, it's not like baking when you just feel the urge to do it. Yes, so she has to make some decisions. She still has to go to school, unfortunately. So she might be doing a second year because you have to go to school here legally until you're 18, and she doesn't turn 18 until September 30th. So I'm not sure what her options are. I know she can get an apprenticeship, but I don't know if she'll be able to do an apprenticeship, and I don't know if she, what she would do it in if she doesn't want to do bakery and patisserie. So we'll see how that. She was working as a server and bartender type job, but that job is no longer, unfortunately. She lasted longer at her first job than I thought she would, and it's nothing on her. I told her that too when they let her go, that it just wasn't working out. I said, don't even take that as a reflection on you, because it was your first job. You did way better than, you know, lasted longer than some people do at first jobs, and it's really hard, especially in the serving world. The serving can be the same at lots of places, lots of restaurants, bars, wherever, but it's hard to find a job where everybody, like, you fit with your coworkers, you fit with your bosses and everything else. So it's just a learning experience. I said, like, no matter what job you have, you've learned something from it. So just take that, and you know, now if you apply to a job similar to somewhere else, you can put that experience down, that you actually have experience, because some people won't even hire someone without experience. So at least she has that now. So we also met, like, Allison's boyfriend, Ash. We met his son, who is 3 or 4, and his name is Finley. So they came over this week, and we got to meet him. Very cute little ginger boy, and he was happy to play with his toys here and stuff like that. So that was nice to meet them. I mean, and we've met Ash already, her boyfriend, but it was nice to meet Ash's son. Birds, blackbirds and robins and everybody talking. So Steve's gone out to cards as per usual on a Sunday, so when I'm done this, I can just be in the garden. Pork steaks, Brussels sprouts, rice for the kids, and mushroom soup I made today. But for Steve, it was just pork steaks and Brussels sprouts and mushroom soup, and that'll be what I'll have too when I'm done here as well, or when I finally get in. I know I shouldn't be eating so late, but it's hard to get myself to go in when it's still nice weather, and I know I only have a little bit of time to be in the garden. These summer lives, where I just looked at the time and it said 33:33. So, you know, if you're into that spiritual stuff, that could be significant with all the matching numbers. But these summer lives are a little bit harder to get to an hour, because it's the weekend and people have their things that they want to be doing, and it's not listening to me ramble. So I have showed up as I usually do, but maybe we will make this one a shorter one if the only person watching live right now is my mom. Not that I don't appreciate her, but I can visit with her without being on here. And there's somebody in our life. My butt is getting sore from sitting on the edge of this. I'm going to take this other board and sit back, but I wonder how low I'll be if I fall into all this compost. So there is someone in our life who has dementia, and their partner has already passed away, and they're not doing good. And me and Steve were talking about the fact that with the kids, taking care of them or not taking care of them, it puts you into a particular situation. And we were talking about like how if you're in the right state of mind, you can appoint someone as a, oh no, I need this term to tell the story, or it was like the one thing that I wanted to talk about. What is it called again? Oh, a power of attorney. So if you're in the right state of mind, you can appoint someone as a power of attorney over your finances and all of your like home and equity and all that stuff. But if you're not in the right state of mind, then if you don't have the, whatever it's called, the capacity, I can't remember what it's called, then you can't do that. It's already too late to do that. And someone by the state or such could be appointed to take over your affairs, which is very tricky and frustrating, especially for family when they have somebody else coming in. However, you don't want family fighting over who would do that, because if you aren't in your faculties, that's what it's called, like if you don't have the right faculties and you haven't appointed someone, then they're going to fight over who they think is the best one, but it might not be the best one. And I really hate seeing what comes to even good families when there's illness or death in them, and it's just ridiculous. But there is something that you can do called a lasting power of attorney. This is something that you can do. Say you are seeing that you have dementia, but only the first sign. So you know that you're forgetful, you've been diagnosed, but you're still of sound mind. You can do what's called a lasting power of attorney, where you sign over that, but you need the person that you're going to choose, you need to be able to trust them, like seriously trust them. And because you're giving this person like the power over all of your, your financial affairs and everything else, so that you need to trust them completely. But you can put a lasting power of attorney in place, which is you have to do it legally, signing that person the power of attorney over you if and when you lose your faculties and aren't able to make those decisions for yourself. So it is something you can put in place before you absolutely lose your mind. The problem is that, like I said, you need to find someone that you absolutely trust if you do this. Not only that, you don't know if or when or if ever you're going to lose your faculties. So it's like a question of, do you want to put this person in place? Plus, what if that person has different, say somebody you think you can trust now and you put that in place, but in 5 years when they need to take over your financial stuff, they have financial problems in their life and you can't trust them anymore, but it's too late. So it's something huge that you need to think about. And then I've also told you guys about a living will, which is similar. If you, in your living will, you will appoint someone who, can't remember what the term is, but it's almost like a power of attorney, but it's over your health. So the living will only covers your health and such. So that's deciding if you want the machine shut off, or all of those medical decisions, if you're not able to make them for yourself, is a living will, which again you need to do legally. But that, like I said, that only covers your health and such. It's thundering again right now, very quietly. I don't even know if you can hear it. But the lasting power of attorney is the one that's over the finances and all that stuff. So your home, if you don't want your home to go into, it's just, there's so much to think about and look into, and it's so much. When people are grieving the loss of someone, the last thing they want to do is all of this crap. And then if you're lucky enough to have generational wealth in your family, where, if you own a home, or your parents own a home, depending on how old you are listening to this, or your grandparents own a home, or whoever, or other assets, and they pass away, you need to look into, well, you don't have to, but they need to look into, or you can look into it for them just to help them, what happens when a business, different assets, like a home, if they passed away, what would happen here. You can do a thing where you can sign over your home to a person 7 years before you die, and then they won't have to pay taxes on it. But how do you know if it's 7 years before you die? How do you know you're not going to die in 5 years, or how do you know you're not going to die in 20 years? So it's really like complicated. But sometimes like with business and stuff, with what's called capital gains taxes, and this is why, like, if you have a business, it's important to, like, life insurance is important for different reasons. I don't know if I told you guys this before, but I learned this when I was doing insurance, when I was selling insurance. When you, and I don't know if this is the same here in the UK, but when you buy a house and you get home insurance at the same time, like the mortgage insurance, that will cover the mortgage if you pass away. What happens is your mortgage is this much, your insurance is this much to cover this mortgage. But as the years go by, you're paying your mortgage down, but you're still making the same payment every month for your mortgage insurance based on what the house is worth, but not on what you owe. So it's like it doesn't really work. Whereas if you get insurance through an insurance company, you can get insurance based on how much you still owe on your mortgage, and I think you can adjust it. So you can do life insurance that way to cover your home and everything else if something happens. But you also, if you own a business, you need to look into, life insurance to cover the business and any expenses that come with that. Or I told you guys about the podcast I was listening to where they like tried to kill the guy, or did they kill the guy? They killed the guy because of the business and everything else. And what it wasn't that he had debt if he died, that his part of the business was a debt. It was about they want like life insurance to cover buying. So if they buy him out, then they pay the estate. But it was like, so it's somehow like if there's 3 guys who owned a business and one of them died, and then that part of the business went to his widow or widower, then they would have a say in the business. Well, in that case that I was watching, it had to do with the fact that they, like, with the insurance, it was able that they would be able to buy this person out, or it was something like that. This is what I'm saying. It's so complicated. So that spouse didn't have any say in the business, but they would still get, the spouse would still get the worth of the business from their partner dying and everything else. So it's just complicated. So you just got to look at different scenarios. If you have a business and you died today, what would happen to that business? Would it be worth your family inheriting, or would the taxes and everything else make that business go under? And especially when you're trying to like do things to set up your kids and grandkids and future generations, when you're trying to do those things to make them have an easier life, then you really need to look into what happens to your business, what happens to your home, what happens to any of your assets if you pass away yesterday. Because it's not as simply like gifting that, your kids don't just get your house and get your savings and get all those things when you pass away. Even if you have that stated in your will, there's like so much more legality to it. And the thing that the question that we'll do today with the end of life planning is, do you think it's important to have a lasting power of attorney in place and the living will? So I'll write my question based on that stuff and the stuff that we've talked about. But like I said, it's very complicated, and you need to really think about it and look into it, because we can't always plan for what's going to happen, obviously, because we don't know what's going to happen. But we also need to look at these things practically. If your kids are already fighting over your estate and you're alive and of sound mind, then you can only imagine what's going to happen if you're not of sound mind or if you pass away. And it's just ridiculous to me, but that's because I was raised properly. Thanks, Mom and Dad. That it's ridiculous to me that these people fight over inheritances and stuff. That, you're not entitled to those things. If you get those things, great. That's wonderful to help you out in life. But a person who's worked hard and made that money is the person who is entitled to it and to do what they want with it. So just because your parents or grandparents have money or have assets does not mean you have any right to those. They worked for that. So if they want to leave it all to a charity, or they want to leave it all to one of the
4 grandkids or 3 of the 4 grandkids or whatever. That's their prerogative, and if they have a will that states all those things. But it is just ridiculous to me how people will fight over money that isn't even really theirs in the first place. And yeah, so I really like, that's why we're doing this end of life thing. It's not just to help out the good people in your life, the family and friends who want to take care of your stuff if something happens to you, but it's also to put things in place that the assholes who try to take advantage of this shit don't get any more than they deserve, even if it's nothing. So yeah, that's why one of the reasons I want to do this, because too many times I see these, we're all gonna die. That's a matter of fact. And guess what? Sometimes people die young, and sometimes people get injured and aren't able to take care of themselves, but they're not dead. So these things will happen, and I am just saddened when I see these situations and nothing is put in place. You know, when someone's house burns down and they don't have insurance? It's one thing if something happens to your house and it's called an act of God and your insurance doesn't cover it, that's bullshit and frustrating. But when somebody doesn't have insurance, that just makes me think, what are you thinking? Because anything could happen. So it's kind of what I feel like too with not having a will. And I have to say, guilty, I don't have a will. Me and Steve talk about it all the time. I talk about it with you guys. I just asked him today, last night, if he has a lawyer that he would want to use if and when we do our wills, because I need to practice what I preach. I know how important these things are, and you don't know when something's going to happen. And hopefully I live until I'm 80 or 100 or whatever, but you never know. And it's just so much simpler to have these things in place. When I see someone who's passed away and they have these things in place and they're organized, then things can go so much smoother. And like I said, it's such a stressful time in a person's life, especially if someone dies unexpectedly, let alone having to do all the shit that, you know, it's one thing to plan your funeral. If somebody has to plan your funeral and they don't know what color you want or your coffin or like all that stuff, fine. But to do all this other financial stuff and everything else is just so much and overwhelming. And it's a question of, do you want to leave that for someone else to have to deal with, when you can make arrangements now in your life so that it makes it easier for your loved ones if and when you do pass. Because eventually we're all going to do it. So if you make your will now, then you just update it every 5 years or whatever. And if you live for another 30, 40, 50 years, depending on how old you are now, then that's fine. But at least you have one in place, and then you can always adjust it as life happens. All right, I am now turning it up. So there, I did a bit more rambling. We're at 47 minutes. That's pretty good for an hour of rambling. And I did the question for the end of life. Is there anything else you guys want to know or have to say? And I'm not sad if there's not very many views on my summer rambling hours. Like I said, it's people are out and about and doing things on nice days. So what I'm gonna do though is next week, I mean, it's called the Rambling Hour because I want it to be about anything and anything, everything. Like, we don't know which direction we're going to go, but I think for the next few, besides if I am able to get the guests that I want, and also if you want to be a guest, let me know. But besides that, I'm going to put some things together where, like I just rambled now about a topic. I'm going to put some things together so that I have things to talk about on the next few rambles, because I know that even if people can't watch these lives, some of you guys really like catching up with them and watching them or listening to them at a later time. So I will make them more, you know, like we're talking about some interesting things or things that matter to me or my family or whatever, instead of just, or things that I'm knowledgeable about, which is crazy because I will learn things and I know that they're in there, but it's really hard for me sometimes to like spew them back out to like reteach them, or yeah. So, but I will figure some things out so that I have some things to go on about in the next few weeks, so that it's not a boring rambling hour, whether you're watching it live or catching up at a later time. Because I know that there's some things I wanted to talk about on this one, but I wanted to like make some notes and actually make sure that I had my facts right and everything. And when I talked to you guys about it, partly it was about the lasting power of attorney and things like that, where it takes my brain a minute to get the, you know, so yeah, I have some other things that I want to, but I didn't write them down, so now they're gone, so I'll figure it out, right? Like, again, like I said at the beginning, my shirt, right? I don't have ducks or a row. I have squirrels and they're everywhere. I don't know if I can get my face in and the writing, but anyways, I love you guys. Squirrel. I will see you guys next week, and I hope you guys have a good week, and I might even have my teeth in next week if they fit properly when I go on to my appointment. Yeah, and hopefully we'll be in the garden again next week, and hopefully the weather is going to be good this week. So I love you guys, and we will see you then. Bye.